So, Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. Not what I expected. So I got it. Cute little book. I thought it was about loneliness. A woman who's a convenience store worker in her 30s and she's really lonely and sort of struggling in life or whatever. But it turns out it's really about, I guess, neurodivergence and sort of how society expects us to fill certain roles. I don't know. So I say neurodivergence because I don't know how to diagnose the woman in this book. On the spectrum, some form of autism, bordering on like psychopathy, because at one point she's with her sister who's the baby's crying, and so her sister picks up her baby and is trying to quiet it, and the main character looks at the baby and looks at a nearby knife and is like, look, if you just want me to silence the baby, I can do that really quickly. Like, so like considering murdering a child just to shut it up, yikes. Anyway, so it's about this girl. She graduates high school, doesn't really know what to do with herself. She's always struggled to fit into society, but not like, oh, I'm quirky and different. More like, I literally have no idea how I'm supposed to act. Why won't someone just give me a list of instructions of this is how you act in society? Because without that, I cannot figure out how to act in society. It tells the story about how these people were fighting on the playground and how they were sort of calling for them to stop. And so she ran and got a shovel and beat them over the head with a shovel. And she's like, well, I got them to stop. It was like, no, you can't beat people over the head with a shovel. You could kill them. But how should she know? She stopped the problem. They wanted the problem stopped. She stopped it. Anyway, so at 18, she gets a job at a convenience store. And a convenience store in Japan. It's a Japanese novel, so a konbini. It's sort of different than what I would say a convenience store in here, where like I've worked at a convenience store, I've worked in retail, so I could associate with some of it, but konbini is a bit different. Anyway, so at the store, she is literally told, just like how she wanted, how to act, what to say to customers, how to greet them, what she's supposed to do, how she's supposed to look, how she's supposed to sort of move her facial muscles and smile and greet these people, and literally every sort of detail is explained to her by her employer, and so she sort of excels at it. She really gets into it. She knows exactly what to do, and she does it, and she does it well. She is the perfect convenience store worker in terms of like every employer's dream is to have a worker like this. She even does stuff like she buys all her food from the store, but she buys like dented or damaged products that are out of date and can't be sold, specifically to help out the store. She's always arriving super early. On her days off, she'll sometimes drop by and see if they need anything. Her whole life is dedicated to this store because she feels that that's sort of her purpose in life. She does it well, and so she gets sort of satisfaction from that. But she does notice that by the time this book is written, she's 36. She's a virgin. She's never had any sort of relationships. And she's noticing that the other people that she's around are sort of not questioning her. Well, some are literally questioning her, but there's weird vibes. Like she's getting the vibes that, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Like my whole life I had been doing exactly what the store has told me to do, and that's great. It's been working out. But now I'm in this weird sort of middle-aged transition zone where I shouldn't still be working a part-time job at a convenience store, and I should be in a relationship with people. So there starts to be a bit of a problem. There's also this really neat thing where she describes how her sort of speech patterns and the way she moves her body and whatnot, she has incorporated from what she sees other people doing and how other people sort of infect her. And over the course of these 18 years working at this store, she's gone through so many different managers and so many different fellow employees, and how each of them has sort of changed her, and she's taken parts of them and added them to her, and how she is sort of a product of her environment, and she sees other people as well and the way that they talk and act as being products of their environment and their sort of group of people that they're around, which I thought was a really neat observation. And I think that is true, that we condition ourselves, we try our best to act in a similar way to those around us to sort of set them at ease in social situations. She also sort of reminisces about how the store is the exact same as it was 18 years ago when it first opened, but how all of the parts of it have been interchanged. She's the only one that's the same. All of the employees have been different, all the products are different, but it's still the same store. And she talks about how her own body, which is made up of materials from the store, because she eats food from the store, and how even her own body has been totally changed and replaced so that it is now totally all part of the store. And sort of this sort of neat ship of Theseus style argument where even though all the individual parts have changed, nothing has changed in the whole. So that's cool. But like I said, she's coming into social issues with the people that she does associate with, that something should change. She should maybe get a partner or stop working at a convenience store, but she doesn't know what to do. She literally needs someone to tell her, "Hey, this is what you do step by step by step," and then she would do it no problem. But she doesn't know what to do or what she's doing wrong. Whether she's actually doing something wrong or not, that's a societal question. In her society in Japan, then she is, but I mean, morally, ethically, like, you can work at a convenience store, why not? So a solution comes along in the way of this character, Shirahara. Shirahara? I think his name's Shirahara. He's he is like, ooh, he's something else. He is not just an incel. He is the most typical classical incel, but like the also the to the nth degree the most incel. He's always complaining about society and how the world has it out for him, and how even though he's in his mid 30s and working a part-time job, it's not his fault. Everyone, like, no one will give him a chance, and everyone expects him to do this and that, and he's like so self-pitying, and it's all women's fault, and why won't women sleep with him? Well, it's their fault, and they're doing wrong. And I'm not going to get into it, but he's like a horrible human being. And anyways, he's like stalking one of the customers of the store, so he gets fired. And the main character, she runs into him, and he's complaining, and like, really, he's really abusive to her as well, verbally, like calling her like middle-aged, and no one will ever sleep with her, and he can't feel anything towards her, and she's such a failure in life, and blah blah blah. And she gets bullied a lot in this, but she doesn't it doesn't hurt her. She sort of takes it all as sort of logical information, like, okay, I'm doing this wrong, well, what can I do to get better? Like, at one point she calls someone, or she's speaking with someone on the phone, and she asks, like, hey, should I have a baby with this person? And the person's like, you should never have a child with anyone. Your genes should not be spread. You should keep them until the grave. Like, do not ever spread your awful, horrible genes. We do not need more people like you in the world. She's like, oh, okay, great, I will never have children then, thank you for telling me. Like, she's genuinely like, okay, this is logical. I've got bad genes, I shouldn't be spreading them. There's something wrong with me, well, then of course I shouldn't be reproducing. Oh, I'm so glad someone told me that. Like, she's very straightforward. Anyways, this guy, she runs into this guy and ends up taking him back to her house because he doesn't have anywhere to stay. And she's like, well, you can stay with me. And she calls her sister up and is like, yeah, I have this guy staying with me. And her sister's immediately like overjoyed because her sister has supposedly a relationship for the first time. And sort of as word gets out, her fellow employees at work, the manager, her friends, all of these people seem to have this really positive, excited attitude towards her living with this man. And so she sort of takes that as, oh, okay, this is a good thing. I should sort of stick with this. I'm going to keep this guy around. Now, they never really have an intimate relationship. He just sort of stays in her apartment as a bum, and she supports him like a kind of like a pet. But them having each other sort of fill that role for society, that you need to be a couple, you can't be single. And yeah, so they sort of work for each other. And so things seem to be going better for her. Shirahara convinces her that you need to quit working at the convenience store. You're 36 years old, you need to get a real job. So she, for the first time in 18 years, quits the convenience store. And then the following month, while she's looking for work, she falls into such a depression. She has no reason to get up in the morning. She has no reason to eat, because the only reason she was eating and sleeping was to make sure her body was well prepared for work the next day, because that's what they told her at work. So without having that work, she just loses all concept of time and routine and anything, and sort of really starts to fall apart. And at the end of the book, she gets an interview, which is kind of a big deal that she actually got an interview, someone her age with her resume. So she's going to the interview, and they stop at a convenience store. She goes in the convenience store and immediately starts, straightening shelves and doing things and helping people out. And the people that work there assume that she's like part of head office or whatever. And so they sort of are really pleased with her and everything that she's doing. And she feels so much at ease now, like she is back in her environment. And Shirahara finds her and grabs her and pulls her away and is like, what are you doing? Like, you're not a convenience store worker anymore. We've got to get to this job interview. But she has realized at this point that convenience store sort of is her life. It is part of her. This is her purpose on this planet, is to be a convenience store worker. That's what she is. It fits perfectly with everything that she is and knows. And so she leaves that guy and finds herself a job at a convenience store, and sort of is sort of back at square one, but is in the place that even though society might frown upon, to her is the perfect place for her to be in society. So it was kind of an unexpected book. I didn't think it was going to go that way and be about a woman who has these very strange and different social, she's almost an alien. She doesn't understand humanity unless it's spelled out for her, and she's never insulted. She, anyways, I'm not going to go into again, but yeah, it was all about sort of, to me, this character and how maybe you could say it's about how societal norms are pushed on us, but we really need to find what works for us, even if that's sort of frowned upon. I don't know. It was a really short book. It was really good, but not quite what I was, not maybe looking for, but expecting. For that reason, maybe I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have, but very interesting book. I do recommend you read it. It's not horrible, it's not bad, but it's if you know what it is going into it, I think you get more out of it. Yeah, so that is Sayaka Murata's Convenience Store Woman.